So it's been a day, right, guys?
Okay. That's I'm so hang on. You just gonna drop right into it like
We're dropping like the Among Us
I
plane.
love the professionalism there, Rex.
Uh, Come on, let's go act a rush. We've never had any form of professionalism. We just
Good
go
lord.
for it.
Okay. I was like, okay, we're just starting now. Alright. Also, leave this all in. Fuck it.
You know what? Fine, I'll leave it in. Uh, with us, we have frequent
Hi.
homecoming
Hello.
and special guest Daniel Alba from GVG.
Hello. Thank you all for having me here today.
Thank you for joining us. Uh,
Yeah.
so we're gonna start with the state of play because if we start with the direct, we're gonna be here for a while. So, what were your general thoughts on the direct with everyone? Just
With the
not
direct.
not direct. Sorry, state of play. My bad.
Oh, uh,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
how about
I
what about you, Daniel? How did you feel about it?
Yeah.
Let's see. The state of play. I unfortunately wasn't able to react to that with the rest of the crew. I was watching it with them, but away from them. But at the same time, like there was a lot more to that than I thought we were gonna get. At least things that kind of appeal to me. Of course, they kind of have their own little fillers here and there. But like the first one that hit was we saw more of Spider-Man 2. We saw a lot more than I expected we were going to see with the exploration, your movement, just how you're able to switch off between Peter and Miles back to back, and how how all those mechanics work. And I was like, yeah, this is definitely something I want to play. If only that there wasn't like a bunch of other releases happening in like the same week or so. But it's looking really good, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's weird. For a lot of people, the highlight was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. For me, it was just more Spider-Man news. Like, oh my god, that game looks so good.
uh,
Um,
I'm glad they didn't show any more story from it because I don't need any more of
yeah,
that. I just want to see gameplay.
yeah. Like at this point, I don't want to know anything else about the story. I just want to experience it for myself.
Yeah,
What?
I think they showed just enough for us to really get interested. Because yeah, there wasn't really enough with the gameplay. But now I'm just like, yeah, I want to get my hands on it and experience it for myself now.
Yeah. What about you, Homecoming? What were your thoughts on the state of play?
Um, uh, to put this gracefully, not very. I loved seeing more Spider-Man. Y'all know me. Y'all know how much I love Spider-Man as a character in a franchise. I mean, I even have a Spider-Man wall, for goodness sakes, with the collector's edition for the first game. But aside from Spider-Man and Final Fantasy, I was not a fan of Sony's pacing. I feel like Sony's state of play felt less like something for everybody and more like we 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 are out of groceries. We grabbed every ramen and dry cereal in the pantry and we just threw it on the counter. Like it really felt slapped together. Like the fact that they opened with that Bennett Foddy Quap game, like
Baby steps.
baby
Baby,
step.
Yeah.
That looked amazing.
I know.
I
You
mean,
know,
I
that's
know
a game.
Homecoming's not particularly into it, but I think it's really funny looking.
it's because I
That's
played Getting Over. Oh, what's that, Daniel?
that's a game that's like very confident in what it is, and it's definitely not taking itself seriously. I honestly didn't didn't mind it. It was pretty funny for what I saw, and yeah, it's a Benefati style game. It's one that's meant to make you rage as you watch people stream it, and if it's leaning into that, then go for it, man.
Yeah.
As,
Like this is definitely a meme game.
as, as someone who played Getting Over It, I'm not falling for Bennett Foddy's wiles ever again. As someone who was uh how do I put this politely? had a friend group at the time who thought it would be funny to watch me play Getting Over It and Scream, and they all enjoyed it. Um, I'm maybe it's my getting over it with maybe it's my memories of getting over it. And when I first saw Baby Steps, I was okay with it. I was thought, oh, meme game. And then at the Devolver thing, when I saw Bennett Foddy's name on it, I literally just put the pen down. I was like, nope, nope, walking away. I don't trust you, Mr. Foddy.
Some trauma.
Gotta give it a try. Who knows? You might repair your relationship with Benefati with baby steps. It all takes
It's
some baby
true.
steps.
Listen, you cannot deny a game where this guy is caked up. All right, you got to play it, Homecoming.
Kicked up.
It's got some
Yeah.
physics. Do you see those physics?
The physics is impressive.
I wish instead we could go back in time and be in the timeline where instead of that Devolver Direct meant that Volvi was actually getting a game.
Did he not? I thought he did.
No, they just
No.
put him in a bunch of Devolver games as a joke. They're like,
That was
okay.
I was I God, I love their directs so much. They're just it's Adult Swim during the day, and it's weird.
it's just so much chaotic energy, and they live for that. I love the one with Suda51 was on that too. That's like the kind of energy he exudes as well. But Devolver
Yeah,
Digital always goes off like that.
yeah. Uh, I'm trying to think what else was in it because I'll be honest,
I got
just thinking
notes.
off the top of my head, it's like
I got
they
notes.
had the Bennett Foddy game. Oh wait, Homecoming, you have notes?
Yeah, I have notes on
Okay.
because whenever there's these presentations, I write down every single title just so people can remember and stuff, and also myself. We had Baby Steps, then we had Roblox, then we had Ghostbusters VR, Resident Evil 4 VR and DLC, Avatar game, Ghost Runner 2 with demo, Helldivers, Spider-Man 2, Tales of Arise DLC. I'm sure that made Daniel happy. Honkai Star Rail on PS5. I'm sure that made Daniel happy. Phone Stars and Final Fantasy 7.
Foam Stars, not there yet. I'm not at that point. Doesn't make me happy.
Like
Yeah.
with Foam Stars, I still see it as just not Splatoon.
I
I
really wish I got a chance to play that at PAX to have a better opinion of it going into this. Because I heard some people actually like it for what it's giving you.
yeah, I should have
Yeah.
tried it while he was there.
Mm-hmm.
I like the character designs though. They're really interesting. Like there's a character wearing a penguin mask and her name is Penguin.
Yeah.
Some
Oh, uh,
I'm trying. Oh, what's up?
anything from that list stick out to anyone?
uh,
Anything?
I'll be honest. The Ghostbusters VR is kind of interesting. I just wish I
yeah.
had a VR headset to play it on.
That is exactly how I feel about RE4 VR. It's like I don't have PSVR 2. If I did, I would absolutely play RE4 in VR, but
Yeah.
it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, that Resident Evil 4 remake was the first time that I actually played anything Resident Evil 4. I never played the original ones in any kind of capacity, and I really enjoyed that for what it was. And seeing it having its DLC, the Separate Ways DLC, which with Ada Wong, I heard that that's actually looking a lot more ambitious than what the original one looked like. So I'll have to check that out once that gets released.
Yeah, like I it's weird. I've never played Resident Evil 4, but I've always wanted to. The only thing stopping me is that the things that pop out of their heads when you kill them just remind me too much of spiders, and it's just I can't.
It does trigger feelings of discomfort when you see certain visuals in that game, but
Yeah.
thankfully it's more action based than like actual horror. Because if it was more horror based, I don't think I'd be able to play it. I'm more for the action than getting scared.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you're
I
looking
was
for a
saying
horror one, oof,
like
you
like
gotta if
like I
you're
was telling my friends and stuff. It's like in VR, it feels more horror than action, which is weird because usually it's the other way around with this game.
oh god. Yeah.
I
Uh,
oh, you first, Rick.
no, it's okay. I lost what I was gonna say.
Oh, I am not a fan of Resident Evil, but if people enjoy it, they enjoy it. If people are saying it's their game of the year, then more power to them. I'm someone who most Octobers hides in a bunker because every single ad on like Twitch or YouTube is like, look at this upcoming horror movie. And I'm like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
Yeah. Like, literally the only way I celebrate October is just listen to s Halloween adjacent music, and that's about it. But, maybe we could talk about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because that oh my god, that looked amazing.
0
Uh,
out of 10. 0 out of 10.
Homecoming,
Cloud
why
and
do you
Sephiroth still have not started holding hands.
Homecoming, why do you say things that you know will hurt me?
No, did you see those? But did you see those combo moves? They were at least touching swords. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. The best thing in that entire trailer was Cloud on a Segway.
And then the meme where people are saying that Sephiroth's gonna ride on a taller Segway.
I want that to be a thing. I just want that to be a thing.
With like
That will be
one winged angel
amazing.
slowly getting louder and louder as he gets closer to you, Move- going at like 5 miles an hour.
Oh my god.
Immaculate.
I now I really want him on a Segway. Just that's it. I just want a Segway fight between him and Cloud.
But there's like a special Segway version of One Wing Angel. It's like, oh god, there is he rolling slowly down the street. It's like rolling on the Segway.
My goodness.
Segway Roth. Segway Roth.
No, we're still going.
Oh my god. But,
Does that mean that Paul Blart could exist in the Final Fantasy VII universe
All
though?
right, let's stop that there.
alright, and with that, let's move on to the Nintendo Direct, because I don't think we have much else to say about the state of play.
Yeah,
Um,
I wish I had more to
Uh,
say, but like there wasn't.
yeah.
I really enjoyed seeing Tales of Arise getting having DLC, even though it's been 2 years. For some reason, they decided, and they said that there wasn't going to be any DLC for Tales of Arise at all. That it was its own complete story. But here we are, 2 years later. I thought when we heard leaks of Beyond the Dawn, that was going to be like an anime or something instead, because there's so many Tales games that have some kind of anime adaptation, whether it's like a full series or a movie that kind of relates to, or something that ties certain games together. And yeah, I don't know. I have to
Yeah.
like reacquaint myself with the entire world of this game now because it's been a couple of years since the game came out. But if
Yeah,
they're
like
putting more out, I guess we're gonna see more tales. I didn't expect it, but
the
um,
only DLC related thing I know about Tales of Arise is that apparently it had, like, a collaboration with SAO of all things.
yeah, you could actually fight the characters and dress your characters up as those main characters,
That
and
is
it was very very random. But I mean, Bandai Namco, they always do these crossovers together.
I think they
yeah.
make the SAO games as well, so that probably is why.
Yeah. Yeah, they they have some crazy crossovers, like, there's a costume in Tales of Vesperia that's, Cosmos from Xenosaga, and
Oh, cool.
then there's, what I think it was Tales of Exilia? One of the ones from the PS3, they had a crossover with Code Geass, the anime of all things. So,
Oh
they
god.
certainly dip into the anime pool every now and then because of Bamco, so
Yeah. I just want one of these to have a crossover with One Piece. That will be really interesting.
oh man, fight with Zoro, that'd be fun.
Um, but yeah, so with the Nintendo Direct, because yeah, uh, so I have a list here, and they started with Splatoon 3 DLC side order, which I'm gonna be honest, it looks like it's just the Octo expansion again.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's the right way to look at it because there's the weird like RPG numbers popping out of the like the attacks and Pearl is now either communicating through a robot or just like turned into a robot. I, there's some weird stuff going on.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure that she's pretty tech savvy, isn't she? I think that's just her communicating through one, and it also appears to help you as well when you're on a stage. So that's completely different than what we had in any other single player Splatoon campaign.
Yeah. Also, that new character they showed off, which surprisingly enough isn't a new character because she's a character from like the Splatoon 2 lore of all things. Like, she's apparently a DJ who willingly got herself sanitized in the Octo expansion in order to make her music more interesting, so it's weird that they brought her back.
Hmm.
That is odd.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then, after that, we have the Mario versus Donkey Kong remake, which 1 caught me off guard, 2, I feel bad for DK fans because they were expecting more.
I mean,
It's
this is still good.
It is. It's
we're like
just
getting
yeah.
rumors of a DK game, but essentially it's still a Mario game instead.
Yeah, you don't get to play as DK, although even in the original Donkey Kong, you don't get to play as DK.
I
So
have
if you get close enough to him, he does punch you in the face.
um there's a few things that I really hope for this game because I'm interested. I love Mario. Mario is my favorite franchise of all time, so there's a good chance I'll pick this up, and I it looks very enjoyable. The two things that I really want, first off, I hope this means that Donkey Kong 94 gets put on NSO on the Game Boy Online. I think that'd be a great way to prep people who have never played Mario versus Donkey Kong for this. And second of all, I want them to keep the voice line from the Game Boy Advance port, the compressed one, where the Toads are packaging the mini Marios, and when Toad asks how much are they, and the other Toad says they're $40.
The only voice line I want them to keep is when DK is watching TV and all you hear is the TV go, "Ooh, bananas. Ooh." And then, and so moving on from that, we have Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which I know that made Frequent happy.
Yeah, I mean, I wish they showed more because this is all stuff that I think has already been shown, or at least
Yeah,
it didn't recognize anything as being too different. But
and
I've been raving about this game since I came back from PAX. It's really, really good. So I'm excited.
yeah, and then we have Horizon Chase
Oh,
2.
did no one else want to say anything about
Oh, yeah,
Prince of Persia?
my bad.
Are you getting
No, I
Prince of
just wish I
Persia,
was able to
Daniel?
play that at PAX, but I didn't have a chance to. But I mean, it
Yeah,
looks really good. It has that feeling of like a Metroidvania style game. That movement that really reminds me of Metroid Dread in particular, with those shots and camera angles. It's looking really good. I want to give it a shot as soon as I can.
yeah. This is, like, the only Prince of Persia game that I'm actually kind of interested in because 'cause I've never played any of these games before.
Um, and then Daniel, any thoughts on Mario versus Donkey Kong? Will you be picking that one up or playing that one
I'm
more
not
frequent?
I'm not sure. I never played the original one on Game Boy Advance, so I think I might at least give this one a shot. I would like to see how it plays. I think it's $58 for Switch, which is, I mean, it I'd have to kind of gauge it for myself to see if it's worth that amount because it is a Game Boy Advance game just remade. But
Yeah,
I mean, it looks fun as it is. I know they're trying to lean away from showing off the minis because that kind of just became its own thing with the whole Lemming style gameplay. So having it be on the original style of Mario versus Donkey Kong, it looks good. I want to be able to. I'll probably give that a shot when I can.
yeah. And then, Horizon Chase 2, which I've never played the first one, but I am kind of interested in this one. Uh, what about you guys?
No
I
real.
played.
Hmm.
Oh,
It's not
Oh, I
really
was just
something
gonna
that
say I
I
have no real
lean to.
opinions because I've never, I've never played the Horizon Chase series.
I've played Horizon Chase Turbo. It's it's pretty fun. It's very cruising. It's very, if people like Cruise and Blast, they should check it out. It goes on sale all the time, and it's pretty fun. So if you want a fun arcade racer, then definitely pick it up. Well, I pick it up, no, because I'll pick it up eventually. Like, it's not a today thing.
Yeah. And then moving on from that, we have Super Crazy Rhythm Castle, which
Yeah, I have no idea what that was.
that is definitely a homecoming game if I've ever seen one.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
Maybe. I mean, I do love rhythm games, but it's coming out in November. It's coming out one day before Super Mario RPG, so I do plan on maybe again, this is another on sale game because speaking of Konami and on sale games, literally yesterday I was in GameStop, picked up and I saw Bomberman R2 came out with no fanfare. And I was like, this is going to go on sale just like the first one did. So this one will
I'll
probably go on sale like everything else Konami has. And I'll maybe pick it up. It's got to review well. I think we can all agree that the hardest thing about buying games right now is that we all have a finite amount of money and there's a lot
yeah,
of good looking stuff coming out.
yeah.
Yeah, October is the wallet killer.
My lord.
But and then after that is one that kind of caught my interest. It's a like yeah, it's the Spy Family game, Operation Memories, which is like an Animal Crossing thing.
Spy Family Operation on, yeah.
It, basically,
Yeah, I don't have any. Like I haven't seen. I need to watch Spy Family. I keep saying that, and I never do.
I have only
It's a good show.
seen yeah, I've only seen the first episode. I need to go back to it.
And I know it's good, and I just haven't watched it. I was waiting for like I was like, oh, I've noticed when the manga first dropped, and I was like, oh, I can't wait for this to become an anime, and then I just never watched it.
Yeah. And then
Oh, wait,
a-
hang
Uh,
on. What are your
Daniel,
thoughts on
will
that
you
one?
be Daniel, as a Spy Family fan, will you be picking up this game?
I don't know. I mean, it's funny that it's focusing mostly on Anya. Like it looks cute and wholesome, which is kind of contrasting some of the other themes you see in the game, or in the show rather. But I don't know if I'll pick it up honestly. I might just kind of wait out and see what it more about what it is before I make that decision.
yeah.
I I'm in the same boat as you, just because I enjoy Spy Family. I think this would be cute. Not to sound like a broken record, but it's a Namco Bandai game. If I really want it, it will go on sale. It, like really, Nintendo. When I watch these Nintendo Directs, I always make two categories: what's probably going to go on sale that I can wait a little bit for, and what do I need day one, and then what do I not want at all, or what's not for me. And this one went in the I might check it out. Yeah, maybe if there's a demo, maybe if Anya finally gets the silencer in this game that she wanted, It's
Mm.
like
Oh my god.
I saw so much art of her. Daniel, didn't you make an art piece where you gave her one?
I have no idea what anyone's talking about.
I'm watching the
I would have made it wholesome, like maybe something with peanuts instead, because she's just a peanut addict. But I don't know. I don't know. If she wants a silencer, I think she can have one too.
Yeah,
she's allowed to
she
have one,
deserves
it's fine.
everything she wants.
Yeah.
We
But
will spoil her.
I'm looking at the trailer again, and I'll be honest. So you guys remember that one Chin Chan game that came out a while ago on
Yeah,
Switch? It's kind of giving me vibes of that game.
very cozy, comfortable vibes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did have people say that as well. But yeah, if it's anything like that one, I would definitely like to see more about it.
Yeah. But Homecoming, do you have any thoughts? Or
On Shin Chan?
no, no.
Oh,
I mean, I guess sure if you
I
want to talk
mean,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah, you could
It's
go
yeah,
related.
for
the
it.
the ass dance is great. What a great anime. What a timeless show. But uh no, for Spy Family, eh, maybe it's a maybe. I can tell you right now that there are only 4 games in this direct that were definite day one purchases, and I will definitely bring them up as we get to them.
Well, I'm
Same.
sure one is,
Speaking of one of them, we're getting to it, Mario RPG.
yeah, that I don't think there is a single person in this call at the moment that's not gonna pick that up immediately.
Yeah. Like, I am gonna do my best to get it day one, but if I can't, it will definitely be like a Christmas game.
Oh man, it looks so good. Like I'm glad we got to see more of it because the original trailer was pretty much everything that we most of the things that we've seen already. Not already, but like have we were familiar with in the original game. But here we have like confirmation that there are like special attacks where they're all together. That's unique to this one. You can refight the bosses after the game ends, so there's actually post game content and just more music and just it just looks really great. I want to play that right away.
Oh, yeah. Like,
Well,
I cannot wait to see the Axum Rangers in this.
Oh man. Every
oh,
aspect of this, I'm looking forward to seeing how they translate it and and what else is animated because everything looks so charming so far. And I just love how everyone just they keep that squat short art style for everybody.
Yeah.
yeah, it's weird. Like somehow Bowser looks completely normal in it, and then everyone else just looks like they've been squashed a bit.
I mean,
It's really
Mario
just
just
yeah,
Mar
for me it's really just
yeah.
like Mario and Peach that look like they've been squished down because I guess I'm used to Gino and Malo always looking like that to
Mm,
begin with, and then Bowser is just a big boy like always.
Yeah.
Um, I would like to point out that there was something that they intentionally put in this trailer, and it's a blink and you'll miss it moment, though.
mm.
They put they were talking as they were talking about post game content. They had Mario in front of the door, and it mentioned the special stone starts glowing, which means in this trailer they all but confirmed, in my opinion, that the Coolx fight is still going to be in this game. Like
I
Oh yeah.
I hope they keep the Final Fantasy boss theme.
the 4 music. Oh, I do
Yeah.
too. But when it says special stone, and it makes me wonder
Hmm.
if maybe for the Coolix thing, if now instead of just getting the special stone, if they're gonna make you refight all the bosses, and when you beat them, then you get to fight Coolix. Like if he has like if he's like, you know what, I deserve more than this. I deserve more than just buying a rock and doing. In the original game, you get that rock by giving children illegal fireworks.
Yeah,
That sounds
sounds
like
pretty
something
base to
Mario
me.
that sounds like something Mario would do.
You give
He's not in
mul
California. He doesn't have to worry about burning his home down.
but yeah, very excited.
Yeah.
Very, very excited. I'm going to be marathon. People, I'm gonna have Thanksgiving leftovers on on one plate, and then my Switch in the other hand, just fighting Booster and trying to get to that specific kiss scene in HD to see if they kept it.
I want them to keep
They
it.
better have kept it. It's not a true remake if they have it. They have to remake all the moments. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think what you mentioned earlier was true. Like I think they'll meet if they're gonna have that fight back again, then maybe they'll add more Final Fantasy fights. I mean, it is a remake with adding more stuff in it. After all, they are confirming that there is more here than there was in the original. So I don't know.
Ooh.
I'd like to see other Final Fantasy boss fights happen too.
I would love to just like uh, this is like an out of left field wish I know that won't they probably won't do, but I would love to see like a crossover fight with Cloud.
I mean, it's not the craziest thing I've heard suggested.
Sephiroth stabs Gino. That's why he's not in Smash.
Somebody made a comic about that.
Oh my god, no. But and then the next game after that that they announced was Another Code Recollection, which
Oh yeah.
Oh
I
yeah, the
am
two of them. Yeah.
super yeah, I am super interested in this because I know nothing about this series other than the fact that, like, with the main character, she appears as a trophy in Smash.
Yeah, that was actually my first exposure to that series too. I don't know, I probably saw it something in Nintendo Power magazine. but I hadn't realized what it was back then. I had never played the original, and we never even got the Undercode R come over to the states way back then. So being able to play a version of this that looks so well done in HD, like they completely remade this. Like if you haven't guessed by now, this was the direct for remakes, by the way.
Yeah.
Not a lot of
Yeah.
full original titles, but really good looking ones like Another Code. And yeah, that's like a missing part of my like gaming library that I haven't been able to play before. Being able to play it like this, I'm super interested in what it's about.
Yeah, like, because I know it also has something to do with Ghost, but I only know that because the spirit in Smash, but it that's literally my only exposure with this, and it's like, I need to try this game. It looks so good.
It's a mystery game, isn't it?
Like a mystery puzzle game, I think?
Hmm, it should be fun then. I don't
Something
Mm,
know.
like that, yeah.
yeah.
I'm always happy to see these remakes come out like this, like the way they did with Famicom Detective Club as well.
Oh, that was really
Having
good.
it looks like they're really just going all out with these remakes, and I don't know. I hope more people buy this because I feel like a lot of people, the people that are fans of this, like they're really big fans of this game. So I want to be able to make them happy as well.
Yeah. And then
As
yeah.
as I already saw comments. People are already like, "Oh, does this mean we're getting the Hotel Dusk games? Can we get those back? And can we get that sequel?" And I was like, "That's not a bad idea." I just want this to lead to that one mobile phone cop game, detective game that Ant Dude talked
Yes.
about.
I know exactly what you're talking about, the one that's Japan only?
Buddy Cops. I think it's called Buddy Cops.
Yeah.
I want that localized so bad. And I know this isn't Nintendo, but Capcom, please localize Ace Attorney Investigation 2.
I mean, that's almost certainly coming at this point, considering just how well uh, the Greatest Attorney did.
Yeah.
As it
Mhm.
deserved to. As it
Mm,
deserved to.
but that's a bit off topic, I think.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure. But
you mentioned Hotel Dusk, and the I remember also I hadn't learned anything about Hotel Dusk until seeing the trophy in the game, and that Kyle Hyde trophy is the best one because it's the only trophy that animates.
Oh my god, that's amazing. I I'm so happy they're doing remakes 'cause it's I've complained about this before where it's just like there are so many games that are kinda just trapped on their respective consoles, so it's like I'm glad that they're doing remakes because if they can't just outright port it, this is, like, the closest thing to just giving it more, you know, showing it to a
Hmm.
wider audience, and I'm so happy about that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then, after that, we got another, big announcement well, not big announcement, but update. Princess Peach Showtime.
I'm glad I got a name.
Yeah, no longer Untitled Peach game.
Oh my,
I kind of wish
there's
that
the
actually
crossover I want.
yeah. Like, I'll be honest, during the entire trailer, I was getting massive Kirby vibes because of the costume changes.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't really see it much. Uh,
Just like the different costumes giving her different abilities just kinda
oh, I
reminded
see
me
what you
of
mean. Yeah, like,
yeah.
okay. It took me a second. Yeah, no, I can kinda see that. It's got there are I don't even know how to verbalize what I'm thinking. Uh, it it looks really good. I just that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
how do
I'm
you
so
feel
glad we
about
saw.
Daniel?
I'm so glad we saw more of this game because like we got just the tiniest little snippet in the last direct, just kind of there just to show that there is a Peach game in production. But yeah, the whole idea of changing her outfit and that just changed the style of gameplay. So it seems more combat oriented when you're playing a sword fighter Peach, more investigative, maybe something more akin to what we see in like a visual novel with
Yeah, like
when you're investigating it as the detective.
yeah, like the
Um,
moment I saw the detective outfit and the way like it worked, the first thing that came to mind was Detective Pikachu.
Detective Peach now. God.
Ooh.
Uh, Probably a better game. So but the Peach probably is gonna have. We don't even know how many different costumes she's gonna have. How many different styles of gameplay? Because I'm assuming that every act or every world, however they want to structure this game, is going to be based around a different ability. And so, like one with I guess just how they structure it is really interesting to me, and how they're gonna format the game. Because I guess there's just a certain number of acts, and she's the main star of the show. We don't know the full plot. Like, why is her crown just gone entirely? But no, I'm I'm really appreciating how they're respecting Peach a lot more in this role, in this starring role, than in other games where she had a lead role.
Yeah,
Oh, gee, I wonder which game you're talking about.
the one that did not age well.
The only other one.
Yeah.
The one where her sweet little umbrella consumes the souls of her enemies. He eats them whole. He does. He eats Goomba. You like pick everything up, and the move is that you juggle everything with the parasol, and you're like, oh dang, my emotions are down. Really need to fly to that ledge for that stupid puzzle piece that leads to nothing. Better eat like 50 Goombas.
Yeah, I don't. Then the whole thing with the vibe scepter is just yeah.
We don't
But
need to get into that.
we
But no.
really don't.
Oh.
But
Nah.
what are your thoughts, Homecoming? Because I know this is one of your most anticipated games.
Yes, this is one of my most anticipated games. As a fan of theater and musical theater, and we know that this is not the first Mario game to embrace theater. Some of my most favorite Mario games have embraced theater. One I will talk about later, but like Mario 3, Mario Party 2. I love the idea of this being just this big musical stage play. I hope there's a rhythm game section. I think that would be pretty dang neat. I think it looks fun. I think the combat looks great. I think this is the Peach game that Peach deserves, and who knows, maybe they could do this again in the future and give her a sequel, but this time you can also play as Daisy because Daisy's my favorite one. But like that being said, looks great. I am on board for it. Mario is my favorite franchise of all time. Musical theater is my favorite music genre of all time. This is a match made in heaven. This is a day one purchase for me. I am over ecstatic, over the moon for this game, and this was in my top three. This one was number one. This is my most anticipated game from the direct, and with this and Penny's Big Breakaway and so many other games, and one that we will mention later, next year is already shaping up to be a great year as well. In terms
Oh
of
yeah,
and Mario versus Donkey Kong, Mario versus Donkey Kong in February.
yeah. What about you, Frequent?
Uh, like it's such a unique looking game. Like I the Mario's not like a stranger to the musical theater kind of format. Like Mario 3 is a stage play, but they're just going all in on it with this, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. I mean, there
Yeah,
was
and
a DDR like DDR Mario mix. I think the plot of that was technically a musical. I could be remembering wrong.
What the only thing I will say from Mario DDR mix is Wario lamenting on how he can't dance. Is still some of the funniest like I think Wario and Bowser are both like, yeah, I stole this music note. Waluigi let me have it, and this is the only way I canonically can dance. They have no style. They have no grace. These
I knew
two.
you were going there. I knew you were going there.
But Daniel, will you be picking this game up day one or is this for you, or are you like on board for Princess Peach the musical coming to a
Oh
stage near
yeah.
you?
Like I appreciate how they're you can kind of see Nintendo changing their direction within the Mario series in general. Like with the movie that came out earlier this year, you see a lot of people in especially a lot of younger audiences have seen Peach in a more less not damsel in distress role. One that actually a character that actually gets things done, and they're showing that here for in the front and center in this game as well. I have 3 younger sisters that are in from preschool to elementary, and they really like Peach, and one of them's even getting interested in theater, and I show them the trailer for this, and they're super interested in what this game is, and, yeah, they really like the costume changes. They can really merchandise this game if they want to with all her different outfits. I'm glad they're giving her more of that highlight. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited to play that as well, and, um no, there's really nothing else like this game. There's nothing else in the Mario series that feels like this, so it's really interesting to see where they're gonna go with it.
Yeah. Like, you mentioned merchandising, I can genuinely picture them, like, making action figures based off the different outfits.
Like Kung Fu Peach, Sword Fighter Peach,
Yeah.
do a bakery set with I forgot what they called her, but the where she's a chef
Oh,
essentially.
Patissiere, I think.
That's the one.
Yeah. I also noticed
Yeah.
that the, pastries that she's holding, like, in the package art that was leaked, I noticed that they're Yoshi's cookies.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that kind of pastry. They're like checkered style. Yeah, that's the kind you see in Yoshi's Cookie as well.
Yeah. And then, so after that, we got an announcement for Saga Emerald Beyond, which I'm not familiar with this series.
I've heard the name of the series. I don't have opinions on it. I feel like I should.
Yeah. Um, what about you, Daniel? Have you heard about this series?
I haven't delved too much into like the Saga Frontier or the Saga any of those series, honestly. So I can't really have too much to say about this one. Um, but I realize that looking at it, the character models and like their faces, they don't really look very good. It's just like they don't
Yeah.
look as appealing as other games with this kind of art style could be, honestly.
Like, the entire time I was looking at their models, it looked like they were going for, like, a Xenoblade-esque style, but, like, not. It's weird.
Hmm.
Take a quick look so I can remind myself, pull up some images.
Yeah.
Uh, oh yeah, I was. This was one where I was like super impressed that, like, this is a Japanese game. I was impressed they put a character with a hijab in the game,
Yeah.
which I don't think you see very often in Japanese games. So I thought that was pretty cool.
You don't.
And, what about you, Homecoming? Are you familiar with this series at all? Or
I am not. So
Really, we're not the best people to be talking about this, are we?
nah. But, the next one, maybe, with the, Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered starring Lara Croft, which that's another series I'm happy is getting a remake, but not remake, but remaster, but something tells me I'm not gonna be able to play them.
I'm just
Uh,
surprised. I'm just like, who asked for these remakes? Not in a bad way. I'm just like, who could have possibly guessed that we were gonna get the original 1, 2, and 3 remastered in the way that it is? Hopefully they're changing the controls.
oh
Because those aren't
yeah,
something that you can easily work your way through. So
yeah.
Yeah.
hopefully these accessibility, quality of life will be improved with this one. I love that you can play as the original art style, which isn't honestly too different from what they have going on. It goes from like a PS1 game to like a PS2 game. That's what it feels like, honestly.
Yeah, like, that's the vibe I was getting when I looked at it. Cause like, when they did the slide through, it's like, Yeah, it's just a PS2 model.
Yeah. Is that a bad thing? I don't.
No, it's not a bad thing. It's just it's like Daniel said. It's not too different.
I think it's
Mm,
charming just to kind of just because it's remastered doesn't mean it has to be like completely redone from the
Yeah,
ground up or anything. I think just even having having it close enough to the original style has something charming about that.
yeah. Like one remaster, just as an example, I would love to get is a Darkwing Duck NES remaster. They could easily just like make it GBA art style, and I would be okay with that.
yeah,
Mhm,
that's not really a
yeah.
thing that's done very often where they just make it look like not modern, but like a generation after when it came out.
Well, they're
Yeah,
doing that Rugrats game where you can either play the platformer with hand-drawn assets or as an NES game, and you can press a button and switch art styles, which is also what the Alex Kidd remake did, where you can do either hand-drawn or Master System graphics and then swap them at the push of a button, which was funny because the boss fights in the hand drawn art style had a bunch of animations and battle phases. So you just switch to the Master System graphics and they just stay stationary and you jump on top of them. Um, but going back to this Tomb Raider remaster, I'm on board. I I'm excited. I I want to play this. I like that you can swap the art styles, and I've always wanted to play Tomb Raider. So yeah,
Mhm.
sign me up.
yeah.
Laura Croft will be my Valentine next year.
All right.
What about you, Frequent?
I, to be honest, I thought you were gonna come to me first because archaeologist. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, no. I'm I need to play the older Lara Croft games. Like I've played one of the reboot games and I really enjoyed it. I don't know why I haven't played the others. Just not enough time in the day, I guess. But I'd like to go back and play these at some point. Hopefully when it comes out. Although I don't know if that's gonna happen.
yeah. Like I might give it a try. I just remember experiencing one of them as a kid, and the atmosphere just creeped me out.
Mm.
But moving on from that one, we have more info on Detective Pikachu Returns, which I mean, I'm interested to see what's new here. It's just it does look more or less just like the DS, I mean 3DS game.
They
Yeah,
they
Uh,
look like they're just made of, like, that cake fondant, like, that's just that squishy that squishy texture, it just doesn't look very much different from a 3DS game, honestly, just kind of slightly upscaled, so I don't really
yeah,
know what they were doing in all the time before this game had come out.
yeah.
yeah,
I think they like. But didn't they start making this as a 3DS game?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, and you could just tell by looking at it too.
Yeah.
like
Unfortunately, I guess the engine they were using or just the art style doesn't translate.
yeah. I mean, even just gameplay wise, it does look more or less the same. Just hey, now you have other Pokemon that'll occasionally help you out, and it's like, yeah, it's cool, I guess. But um, Homecoming, do you have anything on Detective Pikachu? Or
Uh, he's still okay. Daniel, have you seen the movie, the Ryan Reynolds Detective Pikachu movie?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw that one in theaters.
Um, so these games, like the plot of the movie is the first game, right? Like it's just an abridged version of the first game.
He's trying to find his father. Yeah, more or less.
How Okay, so I guess the movie must have diverged then because I thought he found his father. I guess he just forgot. Did he hit his head or something?
That's what I'm not totally clear as far as what the plot of this game is, 'cause, It seems like the father is still not there, and I don't really know what the plot will be happening in this game is.
Yeah, like I don't know. Detective Pikachu feels like one of those things where it's like it has a one and done plot. But then again, I didn't finish the first game. I only saw the movie. So I don't know. Maybe the ending is different.
I would like to play the first game. I hope that it gets ported at some point. Like I think they said they were going to.
Mm.
Yeah.
Makes sense for those who didn't play the original. How am I gonna follow this deep lore and Detective Pikachu plot?
Deep lore, yeah. Ugh. Yeah, no, it's just a re-release would be great.
Yeah. I wonder if they're gonna re-release that giant Detective Pikachu amiibo.
Oh man, that would be great.
I wish I got that large amiibo. I wasn't able to get one.
Yeah, I saw one, and instead of getting it, I thought it was a good idea to get Occupus Strip instead
Why?
because I was stupid.
Uh,
I essentially looked at it and went, "Ooh, anime game. That was a mistake."
Now, moving forward, anybody here drop $15 to $25? I have not checked. Play the trombone on your Switch today.
no, I'm not a huge rhythm game person, so
See, I
it's yeah,
see, I would've, but that money's going towards Sonic Superstars, so I can't.
that's fair. Daniel, did you pick it up the trombone game?
I am not a trombone champion. I'm sorry, everyone.
Like not all of us can be.
Play play flat note, meow, and that's like, yeah, none of us picked it up. Picked it up. But it looks amazing. And you can play it multiplayer, and you can just have a concerto of badly off-key trombones playing at the same time. What more can you want?
Yeah,
Oh, this is just gonna be game of the year.
yeah, no, I greatly appreciate that the game exists. It's not a game I'm gonna play.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
I
certainly a game I'll watch.
back up Tears of the Kingdom. I don't think you have a trombone in in your pocket.
Oh, I'm sure someone's
We're
built one.
this this just in, that one scene with the Ganon face that everyone memes. He suddenly pulls out a trombone and starts playing it. Was that always there?
Oh god, I just realized I want them to do a crossover. I want them to partner with Sega and do a crossover with Sonic so they could put the E version of Sonic Unleashes rating thing in it.
oh no.
The soft oh no is what got me.
The only request I have, Daniel, is that one member of GVG does get this at some point so that when all of y'all meet up at a convention, we can have 4-player trombone champ GVG after dark stream.
That's a combination of too many spicy things at once. I don't know if we can make it happen.
I don't know. I saw your first After Dark stream. That got pretty spicy.
Oh no, that's another thing. We have to we still have to continue that at some point, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
I I preferred the night when all of you played WarioWare, and
Oh,
I
that was
liked
fun.
how all of you took shifts, and you can tell who was sleeping on the floor by how invested they were in the game that you were playing. Like the night that Steve was sleeping on the floor, you could tell in his gameplay he had
Oh,
slept on the floor.
I'm sure we'll get to WarioWare soon.
Yeah.
The whole
Yes.
experience. Yeah.
Then
Oh
up
yeah,
There were
WarioWare
MMOs.
itself. The
yeah.
segue.
Yeah.
So up next is Battle Crush. I don't remember what this is.
Battle
Let me
Crush.
see.
What? Yeah, what is that? Let me. All right, Google Images. Let's see. I
Oh,
don't.
is that MOBA battle royale thing.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. It was like teams of 3, right? Yeah, it was like 10
Yeah,
teams of 3. That's an interesting format, and it's mythology based, so I like that. I If it's free to play, I might give it a test run.
yeah. Uh, what about you, Daniel?
Oh, I don't really have much of an opinion on that one, honestly. I There's certain games where you take a sip to hydrate, and that's one of them.
Yeah. Oh, I genuinely think I blinked out on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying like, I'd be interested in trying it if it's like a free to play game, but also like you could like I didn't remember what it was, so clearly it didn't make that much of an impression.
Yeah. Then after that, we have War Tales, which is that weird open world tactical RPG.
Yeah, that was a weird combination of things. It kind of reminds me of God, Fire Emblem Echoes, where you're in the dungeons and then you run into the enemies to start the turn-based battle. So I
Mhm.
think it could be interesting. I need to see more of it.
Yeah. Um, and then up next, I'm sure is one that some of you will be interested in. Contra Operation Galaga?
Yeah, it looks like Operation Galaga, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Uh,
Operation Gabagoo.
Gabagoo.
Beluga.
I know one person who was excited about that.
Yeah.
It looked very cool and exciting, and then I watched it and I was like, maybe not as much. It kind of just chugged along and didn't really. I missed the sprites more the more of this game that I saw, honestly.
Hmm.
Yeah, because like, I'm looking at the 3D models in this game, and good lord, they look generic.
I figure as long as it plays well, it should be fine. But I I, I will wait for our resident Capcom aficionado 112 to let us know.
Yeah.
Uh, they said different difficulties, so
Yeah, that's
I
good
might
since this is a remake of the first game.
yeah, I might give it a try. It looks fun. I agree with the presentation. I like that Way Forward's working on it, but much like River City Girls 2, it definitely needs more time in the oven. Because it's Way Forward, they're probably going to charge $30 to $40 for it. And I love you, Way Forward, but I'm only paying that much for a new Shantae game. So yeah. Oh dang it, I have to buy. That's a whole other discussion. Well, anywho, uh, yeah, Contra remake looks fine. Probably will last first, same as the first. Pick it up on a sale. At, I feel like if I would be more excited for some of these games and be like, oh yeah, Contra, I'm gonna get that. If like I didn't know that around that same window, Penny's Big Breakaway is coming out, and the Sonic Mania team are making a game that looked like a lost Sega Saturn game.
Yeah,
Like
because that's absolutely gonna be a day one purchase.
we are in a time of too many options. People out there have to pick between Mario RPG and Persona 5 Tactica, or both, and just no money at all in like
That's me,
2 months.
both and broke.
Can we
I
get
mean,
this
money
as a
is the root of
hashtag?
all evil.
I want that on a shirt.
Can we get that as a hashtag? Can we start that as a hashtag both and broke? Mario
Yeah.
Wonder and Spider Man, hashtag both and broke. Barbenheimer, hashtag both and broke. Thank you, Daniel.
You're welcome. These ideas just come to me as my wallet empties and I bleed my dollars on the floor.
It's too real.
Uh-oh. Yeah. And then up next, Unicorn Overlord, which
That's the
What a
title.
name. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's Atlas and Vanillaware, which is cool.
Uh,
Uh,
it looks really interesting.
yeah, 100 characters though. Like they're like, "Oh, every character has their own unique like backstory and motivations." And I'm like, "Can they really be that deep if there are 100 of them?" I'm concerned.
Just give me flashbacks to like other games with massive parties like Chrono Cross, where there's just too
Mhm.
many characters for me to like properly invest myself in any of them. But I mean, this is a game by the people that made Odin Sphere. They made 13 Sentinels, which is a fantastic game. Vanillaware does some great work, at least as far as the art style goes, and the stories have always been really well done as well. So I'm giving them uh, the I guess benefit of the doubt because I don't even really know too much more about this otherwise. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think I'd be interested in at least giving it a shot.
Yeah, we'll
yeah.
see when it comes out if there's nothing else around.
Good. I hope it doesn't release around something massive that I'm gonna want. I
Probably
really
will.
hope.
Yeah,
That's just the rhythm now. That's just
Yeah.
the
it's
expectation at this
life.
point.
C'est la vie.
Then, after that, we had an update on Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, which it looks like they're using the same models from Luigi's Mansion 3, which I'm not complaining. Those models are fantastic.
It looks good. I haven't played Luigi's Mansion 2. I've only played 3 actually. So
Yeah.
if they put both 1 and
Oh.
2 on Switch, that gives me an excuse to play them.
Yeah, they really could have just pulled a Pikmin 1 and 2 and put the first Luigi's Mansion on at least the first one on the eShop. But
Hmm.
Yeah.
the second one, it looks all right. I mean, clearly it does have 3DS DNA in it still. The lighting looks a lot better. I mean, it looks a step up from what we see for Detective Pikachu at least. Definitely upscaled a fair amount. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy Luigi's Mansion 2. It's probably my least favorite of the 3 Luigi's Mansion games. But,
Yeah,
so
that's
I
what
don't
I've
know if
heard.
I'll really pick that one up. I'd be a lot more interested to see the first game show up, honestly.
Yeah. I'll be honest with Luigi's Mansion. With Dark Moon specifically, it's one of those games where it's like I occasionally think of going back to it. When I go back to it, the mission structure just makes me want to stop and do literally anything else. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
That is not a good review.
that's definitely one of the parts that are hard to go back to, is, like, you finish the mission, you have to leave the area. I'm just like, "Why not just keep exploring? Make it a seamless experience like the 1st and 3rd games."
Yeah. Like I'd get it if it was like a map system in terms of, hey, come back to the lab and choose what mansion you want to do. But then, like when you actually get to the mansion, you could just do it at your own pace. I'd be fine with that.
Um, I feel like this remake is going to make a lot of people's problems with the second one more apparent if they don't fix it. The fact that it's in summer of 2024 makes me think that they'll do things like, maybe they'll do things where you can just do multiple missions per run and you don't have to go back to the mansion every time. Or maybe, you know, they do things where like how do I word it? The quality of life. So, for example, maybe there's a function where EGAD doesn't call you every 30 seconds, and he doesn't, and that's great. And you can do a whole mansion in one run. If they do that, the fact that the Peach game, which many people are speculating looks like it's being made by Next Level Games, is further along than your Luigi's Mansion port, that has me raising some eyebrows. That makes me be like, what is taking this Luigi's Mansion 3DS game so long? Also, other small theory, so I don't like hog up all the space. I still think that when we get close to the release date, they'll be like, something spooky's happening on Nintendo Switch, or an old fright comes back tonight, and then like bam, shadow drop Luigi's Mansion on GameCube, like what they did with Prime and Pikmin 1 and 2, and then suddenly the whole family is on Switch, and then a physical version comes out like a month later.
I mean, at
Still
that point,
time.
the only thing we'd be missing is, like, F-Zero GX.
No, the only thing we're missing is Kirby Air Ride.
Okay, 2 things we're missing.
Rocks.
Yeah.
Wind Waker and Twilight
No,
Princess HD.
we're also missing Ribbit King. That's the GameCube game that we all need to play.
I have never heard of that one.
Ribbit King, I will teach you the ways of Frolf. That is
Oh,
a beautiful game. If you like your golf games, it's one of my favorites, honestly. That's it came out on PS2 as well, but of course the GameCube one is like super expensive. That's for another day, I guess,
Yeah.
because I could talk about Frolf for a while.
yeah.
We will have you back to teach us the ways.
Yeah, look up Ribbit King. It's very charming. One of
um,
those weird games that you never that's you because sometimes you never hear about.
Yeah.
last one I'll say, just because it might bring back the franchise. Custom Robo, please. But
The only one I will ask for is Gotcha Force. That's it.
that's a Capcom thing. But
I know what I said.
after Dark Moon, so uh
Nintendo Museum in Kyoto, which I know I will never be able to afford to go to.
Uh, I've been to Japan before. Don't think I'm gonna be able to go back anytime soon. Be real nice.
They
Yeah.
showed you like floor plans of the museum. They're like, all right, yeah, I don't know. The graphics on this game aren't looking so hot. I think I need some more time.
Or just yeah, they should for those of us who can't get out to Japan, they should just release it as like a museum experience.
Yeah.
oh, so they put on Switch, like they did those 3DS Louvre carts that are now going for like $500.
Hundreds,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that actually would be like a really good idea. Just like release it as a downloadable title. But
Mm.
after that, they talked about the upcoming Amiibo figures, and
Oh yeah.
I need my boy Sora.
You can have him. No, I'm kidding. I have no attachment to Kingdom Hearts, so it's like this is cool. I'm glad people are getting it because I know they wanted it.
We already
Yeah,
know what Amiibos you want that they showed off, the Tears of the Kingdom ones.
I mean, yes, I'm not gonna go out and buy them, but I do want them.
Yeah.
I do at least want that Zelda amiibo. It's a really
Ah,
good looking one. That
That,
one, the
the
Xenoblade
Noah
ones.
one.
We finally got to see the Noah and Mio amiibo. We haven't actually seen them. Yeah, I mean, we know what pose they were going to be in. They were going to be their character art, but it was nice to
Yeah,
actually take a look at them. And weird to think that there's still stuff for Xenoblade coming out, despite the fact that DLC is already all wrapped up and done with.
yeah.
gotta milk
Like,
it for what it's worth.
I'm sorry, that out of all the Amiibos I've seen, I'm the most hyped for Sora, but the best looking one I've seen is that Noah one. Oh my god, it looks so good.
That jacket, I just want the jacket.
Yeah, I'm also just I knew there was going to be a Sora amiibo. Like people were starting to doubt that there was going to be one, and I'm just like, there are companies that are way less important than Nintendo that have gotten the rights to make figures of this character with the express permission of Square Enix and Disney. And if Nintendo wasn't going to be one of them, I would just been that would have been insane. Especially when there's a whole series of characters, you're not going to finish it off with the last character. That would have drove me crazy because I still need to finish my series of Smash Brothers amiibo.
Yeah. I'm still sad that I missed out on the Banjo one.
I really like that one. He's standing on a jiggy. That was perfect.
Yeah.
I'm holding out. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I'm holding out Timeless River amiibo, please. Timeless River Best Buy exclusive. Pick it up with your 4K DVDs. like
Yeah,
I,
that's how they should do it. The
That's the other.
regulars the regular Sora
Yeah.
amiibo you could get anywhere. The Timeless River one you can only get at Best Buy. The KH3 outfit you can only get at GameStop.
Oh
Oh
god.
man. That's what I was
Don't
wondering is like if they're taking this long to have this amiibo re-released, are they doing like a set of like Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3? I would have enjoyed that because I love the Kingdom Hearts 2 outfit the most.
Yeah.
But
Wouldn't want to give them any ideas.
I mean,
Not about them
the
making more, about the
you
store
you'll have to
exclusives.
yeah.
you'll have to go to a Disney store to get the Timeless River Mickey
Oh
with
god.
Oh god.
or Sora rather.
Yeah. And then, after the Amiibo announcement, we got F-Zero 99, which, I mean, I guess if they were gonna bring the series back, this
Oh
is the way to
yeah.
do it.
Yeah,
This
I
is
was
a way to
excited.
do it.
Yeah.
I still need to hop on and play it, but I've been trying to do the Pokemon DLC.
I've heard it's really good so far.
I have played it thus far. I'm a huge F-Zero fan. I've ever since playing F-Zero X on the N64 and then playing all the other ones, especially GX, which I was hoping there would be a remaster of, at least at the very least. Biggest hope would be just a completely new title where you could like implement the stage builder from the expansion kit for the 64 disk drive. That would be a really good way to expand the life of that game. But
Ooh.
yeah, I mean, F-Zero 99, it's still really cool. They've tightened up the controls a bit so that it's not so slippery as far as what I remember from the original SNES version. It's a bit easier to control. The tracks are pretty much the same though, and just completely filled with people. F-Zero is already a very aggressive game, and this one just kind of highlights that and encourages you to be aggressive as well.
Yeah,
And
like, just from watching the trailers, it looked like even though you're trying to come in first, it encourages you to kill the other
it
players.
wants you to commit violence because as you know, if anyone doesn't play F-Zero who's listening, um you're encouraged to boost while going through the tracks, but boost consumes your energy, so it's kind of a risk versus reward. But if you eliminate an enemy, if you KO somebody, you'll get your energy all the way back up. So it really does incentivize you to just be violent as F-Zero does.
Yeah.
See,
I really need to play this. What are your thoughts on coming?
gonna be playing it. Gonna be working on something. It's part of a project that I am currently working on, but so I'm gonna be playing it very soon. Uh, if it was F-Zero X, then Daniel knows that that would have immediately been better because then if it was F-Zero X, we would have had the compressed narrator voice who sounds like he's gargling water in a closet 500 feet away. You have boost power. Oh, you lost your position. Oh, it's a horror.
You went
We
into
also
Bane there for a
God,
second.
the
we
way
also
he
would
just
have
goes like 3, 2, 1, like he's scared of someone's gonna shoot him or something.
we also would have gotten
Please, I have a family.
that really the character select theme that just goes hard for no reason.
Oh, yeah, and Nintendo did it. I am with Daniel. I hope we get F-Zero X back. I think F-Zero GX would probably have to be kind of like a Super Mario RPG set kind of situation because Sega was the ones who worked on that.
I
So,
hope that they keep this if they ever do like a remaster of F-Zero GX, I want them to keep the story super hokey.
Well, I
I
imagine
will,
this is the, like, the litmus test for F-Zero. Like, if people are downloading and, like, maintaining play on this game, I'm sure that'll tell them that, people wanna play it.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't just disappear in like a year. Pac-Man 99 has lasted a pretty long time. Tetris 99 is still ongoing, and poor Mario 35, rest in peace.
Ugh, it's
I
probably the
hope
most
this game
popular.
has yeah, I hope this game has some good legs on it. Well, it has a good lifetime because I want to be able to play this for some time to come. At least from what I've played, it's really fun. And there's some variety in it. It's not just the racing. You can do team battles, you can do Grand Prix, you can do yeah, pretty much just other modes that are the pro Grand Prix, like for our harder stages. And there's a lot to this that can be expanded upon. They have a good formula, and it's nice and snappy. It's not like one of the problems I had with Mario 35 is that those can go on very long if you're some of the last players contending, depending on what stages you're on. But here, like, there's just 4 laps, and then that's it. So it's a really easy one more kind of style of gameplay. You just want to do one more to see how far you can get.
Yeah. Because that's what I was gonna ask. Is it just you're trying to survive, or is you're trying to come in first?
Honestly, it's both because with so many people aggressively driving, you have to really balance your boosting with the energy that you recover back and trying to go as fast as you can to be in first place before your car just utterly explodes. And there's a lot of there's a lot of fun little extra things about this that I didn't expect to see. I'm glad they didn't really elaborate on anything because I'm still discovering new things and new ways how they're doing this. Even just like how the races start, you're like on this extremely wide road and it slowly funnels you in until you leap onto the track itself and you're doing those 4 laps. It's just really cleverly done.
Okay, that's amazing. I love that the tracks are. It's like like you said, it encourages you to play as aggressively as possible, just because of how narrow the tracks are.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, question: Is Pac-Man 99 still up or is it gone?
It's won't be on for very long. It's gonna be gone soon.
Yeah, it's on its way out, unfortunately.
That is depressing because that's a really good 99 game.
I had fun with it, yeah. But we, we apparently can't compete with Tetris. That's gonna go on
Mm,
until the lifespan of this system is over.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
Tetris 99 is a very good game.
Hmm.
And then up next we have Bandletel, a League of Legends story, which I don't know anything about League of Legends, but let me see what this was. Yeah, it's
That
that
would be
game with the little Ewok looking dudes. It's like Animal Crossing.
I mean, both the League of Legends games they had there, we could probably just, you know,
Yeah,
Forget
the
just
other one was Song of Nunu, which I just love that name just because of uh,
I'm personally just not a big fan of Riot as a company, so I just stay away from their games.
yeah, same. The second one looks like it's a traditional like adventure game.
I hope it's good for the people who play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Moving on though. Um, Wario.
Uh,
Oh yeah, wah.
Wah.
We got wah.
Wah.
We got new wah. New voice actor. Uh,
Yeah, that was weird. I noticed immediately. The voice is quite different, at least from my perspective.
There's
Yeah,
a
we got one whole sentence out of Wario, but that was more than we've heard beforehand. And
yeah.
yeah, it's seeming more like we're gonna get a different voice actor for multiple characters than having one person do all the ones that Martinet had been assigned to.
Probably a smart idea.
Hmm.
Now that they've showed more gameplay, it looks like it's like Homecoming said earlier. It looks like it's Smooth Moves too, but
mm-hmm.
with more
Yeah.
butt shaking.
They have the
That-
forms from Smooth Moves. They have the map UI from Smooth Moves. They have the HUD from Smooth Moves. They have the multiplayer modes. This is Smooth Moves Junior. This is Smooth Moves Switch. Love it. The only thing that I only have one hope for this, I plan on picking it up at some point, but not right away, but when I have a dry spell and I have some friends to play it with, I will definitely pick it up. But Jimmy T should not Jimmy P should not make a return. Jimmy T is great. Jimmy P is the worst part of Smooth Moves. He had the hardest mini games. The Wii remote could not read them well, and I hope Jimmy P fell off that boat and drowned in the ocean on the way to that island.
Oh
Good
my
lord.
god.
He's also a ripoff of Jimmy T, so he's not even the real good. He's not the good Jimmy.
Was
He's
he the one with the
discount Jimmy.
dogs? Or with the cats? Which animal was he?
Ah,
Which one was he dancing with?
he was dancing with the dogs.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. I'm more of a cat person, so
Yeah.
sorry, Jimmy.
Yeah, the world has enough Jimmys.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited. One of the only WarioWare games I played was Smooth Moves, and I had a great time with it. So I'm excited to maybe get a chance to play this.
Yeah, I'm not typically into WarioWare games just because I miss Wario Land, but I might give this one a shot. It looks really fun.
It's good for a character as silly as Wario to have a silly series.
Yeah. And then up next we have God, how do you pronounce this? Eudian
Oh,
Chronicle?
Aiden.
Oh, Aiden Chronicle 100 Heroes, which
Oh, is that the one with the 100 heroes? Wait, then what was the one I was thinking of before? I mixed them up.
uh yeah, this is the sprite-based game that had like 100 heroes to play as.
Oh, what was man, I was not thinking of the right game for Unicorn Overlord. Let me see what that
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, this one's done by 505 Games.
Oh, this was the Unicorn Overlord one looks like a okay. Yeah, that one was a it's a tactical RPG. Uh whoopsie. I'm sure people who were watching this were screaming at me. Uh that's embarrassing. Um yeah, this is take everything I said about the previous thing and then apply it to this.
Yeah. It's giving me Octopath vibes.
Yeah, I mean, is that a good or a bad thing?
I mean, presentation-wise, it's a good thing. I've never played Octopath.
Uh, it's it's good. I got bored of it within the first few chapters,
Yeah.
um, but that's not what we're here to talk about. It's this one, as I said before. I'm interested to see that how the story's going to work with that. But yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, one thing to backpedal really quick. Daniel, will you be getting WarioWare?
Yeah, I'll definitely be getting that one. I played Smooth Moves with family, but because of the way you use the sensor bar, sometimes it's really hard for, as you already we had already mentioned, it's hard to read the sensor bar because you had to point very specifically for certain micro mini games. But now with the Joy-Con, I think it's gonna be a lot more accurate. So we'll be able to have a lot more fun with the family that way. So there's probably a little less difficulty with that. So yeah, partially getting it because I have uh, the family on my mind.
Yeah. And then after that we had the Eastward DLC, Octopia. Octopia. There we go.
what
And
makes it eight, or is it octopus?
it's Octopia DLC. But yeah, no, I'm interested in it. From the little bit I played of Eastward, I love it. I need to go back to it to finish it, but I'm enjoying my time with it.
They really said here, have a farming life sim in your Eastward and go nuts with it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh,
Incoming, did you play Eastward? Because I haven't.
Nope.
No.
it's a good game. Uh, very mother vibes.
It's
Oh,
always a good
that's
thing.
interesting.
Yeah. And
I
then
just finished playing Earthbound.
yeah. So here's the thing, frequent. It's Earthbound if Earthbound was an action RPG as opposed to a turn-based one.
Okay.
Yeah. And then up next we have Wargroove 2. Never played the first one.
If I recall, it's Advance Wars.
It's
Um,
Fantasy Advance Wars. I have the first one. I have not played it. Maybe I'll, much like the first one, I'll probably wait for. I'll play the first one before I form an opinion.
okay. All
Mhm.
right.
Oh,
Daniel.
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't actually played the first one either. So I'm for as
No.
far as this one goes, I don't know if I'll ended up picking up the first one before the second one. So
And then moving on, we have Dave the Diver.
Oh man. Yeah, you mentioned Skull Kid's probably not too happy about that one.
Yeah.
It I I think it looks interesting. I don't know if it's like the type of game I would enjoy, but it looks cool.
It, it, it's an interesting idea. Whereas like you're running a sushi shop and you're going under. Well, you actually like dive deep down for like the fish you're gonna cook and stuff.
I like the
But
giant mantis shrimp.
yeah, but yeah, it's not for me.
I heard people saying really good things about this, especially when it came out about a year ago now. So I don't know. I'm curious what was it? What about it had people talking so much about it? But I think is there a demo for this? I forgot if they mentioned there was a demo available. If there is, give that one a
Let
shot.
me
Yeah, if there's a demo,
check.
I'll totally give it a shot.
Da, da, da.
Well, we can check later.
Yeah. Um. Then after that, we had the final wave announced, and
Oh, for Mario Kart.
yeah, for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I am ready to main Pauline because holy shit.
Yeah, totally unexpected.
I mean, it's not unexpected. I'm just happy she's in the game.
Well, I mean, like they gave us 4 characters. That was
Yeah.
like double what we thought we were gonna get.
Yeah, how dare they? They had like yeah, the two spots were left, and I thought it was just gonna be Diddy Kong and Funky Kong, and then they throw Pauline in there. I'm just like, oh my gosh! And then they threw Peachette in there, which everyone keeps forgetting is included, which is even the even the ones that were announcing the DLC characters were thought felt like they weren't really as into it. They were like Diddy Kong, Funky Kong, and Pauline, and also Peachette.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
just
she's
funny.
here too.
I feel like it would have been more exciting if it was Dixie Kong instead.
I mean, it depends on the person.
Okay,
Yeah.
the final
Yeah,
wave does not need to be all monkey. Oops, all monkeys.
I
Here's the
mean,
thing.
you
The
say
reason
that's
I,
a bad thing.
because for me, it's like I get Peachette is technically Toadette, but it's like she's also Peach, and we already have like three different versions of Peach in the game. Do we really need a
Oh
fourth
yeah,
one?
Cat Peach.
Five
Gold
then, because
Peach.
Baby Peach.
Oh wait, no, Cat Peach was in Mario Kart Tour.
Yeah,
No, Cat Peach is in.
She's in there too.
Oh, she
She's also
is?
in yeah,
yeah. So I was just like, do we really need
Tanuki Mario and
another?
Cat Peach.
Yeah,
Mm.
But that's the
Yeah.
thing, because like you have Peachette. What they could have done was just instead of Peachette, have Dixie Kong, and then it's a whole like New Donk City theme. They could have had New Donk City as its own track instead, and just kind of tailor it to be themed that way with
Oh,
Pauline. But
no, they're saving New Donk City for Mario Kart. Well, I'm saying 10 because I think I would imagine they consider Tour 9. But yeah, the next Mario Kart I imagine might have
yeah,
a New Donk City track.
yeah. I mean, they do
mhm.
typically consider Tour as a mainline Mario Kart game, which is funny because they don't do that with the arcade games. Then again, I think that's because those were made by Bamco.
Yeah, those aren't made by Nintendo themselves, and it's just an arcade game. Not many people have. It doesn't have the same accessibility as you would with your something that's just right in your mobile phone.
Yeah,
So
Um,
yeah, I totally expect the next Mario Kart to be like Mario Kart X or something.
I pour
That's the
one
thing.
out.
It's gonna be Mario Kart X, but it's gonna be like a cross, and that's how they lean to the crossover with all the other Nintendo franchises. That's naming conventions for you.
I
yeah, Kirby and Mario Kart. Let's go.
It has to happen eventually.
pour one out. There was a driver who got robbed today.
Were they a
Hashtag
robot
no pour one out for charging Chuck. You know,
Oh,
or Chuck?
Chuck.
Maybe next time, Charles.
yeah, you know, hopefully someday acceleration Charles or forward momentum Charles will really get to get to
Oh,
be in the games. But only thing I hope for really is Airship Fortress from DS. Like, please, just
what's
Uh,
what's the course they showed that they're bringing back? The Daisy one?
Daisy
Daisy
Circuit.
Circuit.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. Which game is that from?
That's
from the
from Wii.
Wii. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Wait, why don't I remember that?
The one circuit, well, the one course I want them to bring back more than anything else is Mushroom City from Double Dash.
Oh, I was hoping for Toad Circuit, but or not Toad Circuit, Toad Factory. Excuse me.
That too.
Yeah, we'll see. There's still time. There's still what, uh, 7 more courses they haven't shown us. So
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then after that, they announced a new map for Among Us.
yes, ah, I wish I got to play Among Us more.
Yeah. Um, and then they did a recap sizzle reel, which I found funny just because it's just it's near the end of the direct, and they just showed us everything they announced so far, and it's
Well, they
like,
know it was early for the people on the West Coast. They gotta show everything for the people who came in late.
yeah,
And
They had to
and
squeeze in
then
Mario Wonder in there somehow.
Yeah.
yes, they did. And then as we wrap up this episode,
the
wrap
big
up this,
one.
they showed the book, and I immediately knew where that book was going.
Yeah, so did
Same.
Rocks.
As someone who grew up, I didn't own Double Dash, I rented it. I didn't own Sunshine, I rented it. Or any of the Mario sports games. Frequent rentals, like constant renting, and tons of childhood memories. I owned Thousand Year Door. I had the guidebook to it. This is my literal childhood coming back.
Same. Like I remember when I was in middle school, my friend let me have this along with his copy of DK64 just because he didn't want it anymore. Like, like, like I wasn't even listening to myself when it was revealed, but apparently I was screaming.
I was out of the group call, and I knew immediately what it was, and I started kicking my legs very violently because I knew. Uh, I just knew. Like, because I like watching some people's reactions, because some people was like, oh, it's 64, and I'm like, nope. No, it's
No, you
not.
fools! It starts off
Yeah.
differently. Everyone knows that book.
At the very moment it showed the book, I was just like, "Oh my god, it's Thousand Year Door!" And
It's
Frequent was
the
just like, "How did you
book,
know that?" And I was like,
the
"That
music as well.
yeah." It's like, "How did you know that?" That's literally how the game opens.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never played the only Paper Mario game I have played is Super Paper Mario, which is the one that's like the most different from every other one. So, I have no idea.
Yeah,
Incredible story,
this
though.
this was the highlight for me.
This is the second most anticipated game. The reason why Peach is higher is that we know more about Peach, and Peach has a release date, and that's
Yeah, that's
why.
fair.
Yeah,
So that's why this one was like my second most anticipated game. I'm ready for it. They even kept the noose. They even kept the noose.
I'm looking at the trailer
Did we
and
see
this.
it? Because like I saw Goombella's text bubble was up in front of it, and I was like, the news is still there, right?
I mean, I've seen people say it was still there.
Yeah, it's still there. I'm looking at the trailer.
Let this be the version that has the Toad Chalk outline from the Japanese version.
I mean, Homecoming, you joke. I'm looking at it. They kept in the background gag of someone getting like a mafia hit.
Oh,
Yeah.
with the fiancés.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's just the syndicate doing their business. You don't mess with the Pianta syndicate.
Oh god, they have Italian names. Oh no.
I love that this game just has the mafia in it. And it is just an entire side
Just
quest.
leaning into the Godfather over here.
I'm
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 excited to play it.
Yeah,
I'm ready for a whole new generation of gamers to experience this game. I,
same.
I'm ready because I didn't grow up with Pokemon. My first Pokemon was Diamond and Pearl. My first real RPG, even though I played Mario RPG a little bit, were Superstar Saga and Thousand Year Door. So there might be some kids out there who don't get Scarlet and Violet, or who get a Switch with Thousand Year Door next year, and it's their first gateway RPG, and it's a good one. It's the story is incredible, the music is incredible, the remix music sounds great. It's another Mario game set in the theater. I'm ready. They showed Hooktail. That means Hooktail's going to go into the audience to heal herself and eat everyone. And so
Yeah,
many little kids are going to freak out the way I did.
like Homecoming. I know you've mentioned before that your favorite Mario RPG is Bowser's Inside Story. I have to
Yeah,
think about which one was my favorite. I think this is it. I
that's
genuinely
fair.
think it's Thousand Year Door.
I like That's a discussion for another day. But Daniel,
Yeah.
so is this a day one purchase for you?
I mean, yeah, I grew up with the Thousand Year Door as well, and I remember just there's so many memories I have with that and the first Paper Mario games, and to see them giving this game the remake treatment that I think it deserves. It's not just a simple remaster. They've really just kind of remade everything from the ground up. It looks like from textures to lighting. It doesn't look like the other Paper Mario as well. Like, I was hoping if this was ever gonna be a thing that they wouldn't look like how they do in Origami King, for example, because like, the game looks fine as it is, but it's super saturated, and all the characters have this, like, white outline, and they're so Mario himself is so I mean, this it's the point, but he's so papery and wavy and floppy, and,
Yeah.
like, this game leans more into a crafty feel that isn't just lying itself in just paper. Mario has like layers to him. If you look really closely, he feels like he has more weight to him. And they don't need that white outline to stand out against the backgrounds on here because everything else is so well designed. Because the lighting is also something else to be note of. It has such good lighting and it's not super saturated. Like a lot of the colors here actually are pretty muted compared to the original, but it has such a strong identity and art aesthetic that it's totally fine. It carries it along with it, and
Yeah.
there's so much about this that we could go on for a long time because it is the Thousand Year Door, and I'm so happy to see that this is becoming a thing. Like Nintendo is choosing to have two remakes of different RPG games. Like these two remakes, Mario RPG and Thousand Year Door, like they completely go against their whole MO of like no original characters, no uniquely designed toads, for example. And those two games go against that so hard. Like there's so many different unique species of people, designs for characters of species that already exist, and just kind of going off the wall now. I want to see what sales are for these games, and hopefully that leads to a potentially completely new and unique Mario RPG game as early as the next console, whatever succeeds the Switch.
Yeah. Like
This
I
does.
you
Oh,
mentioned the how it doesn't it leans more into the papercraft thing. I went back and played the original Paper Mario because I have it on GameCube, and you're right because like the with Thousand Year Door as well as the original, despite it having paper in the title, it didn't really feel like that wasn't like the focus. It was more so just, "Hey, this is the world. It just so happens to be made out of paper." It wasn't like a huge focus like the newer games do
Hmm.
make it as.
I this remake breaks my heart a little bit though.
Oh?
If we had just waited a little while longer, or Nintendo wasn't stupid about it, that Inside Story remake could have been on Switch. That could have like led the way to Mario RPG and Paper Mario getting these rightful It's so not to sound like a spoiled kid because I love Mario and I'm getting both these RPGs, but the Mario and Luigi series also deserves so much. Especially Superstar Saga and Inside Story, like Daniel was saying. A Mario game with unique character. The Superstar Saga takes place in a whole different kingdom. And Inside Story takes all of these different leaps and bounds to the point where I don't know that many gaming musicians or YouTubers who haven't remixed in the final because of how impactful that song is. Like, or the grand, or I, it's got two names. Some people call it in the final, some people call it the grand finale. But I'm with all of y'all. I cannot wait to play this game. My childhood's back. Please let this lead to a new Paper Mario game. You know what? It can be a Paper Mario game with unique designs and unique story, and still have photorealistic office equipment. It just has to have good writing. You know, maybe I like the photorealistic office equipment. The music, at least for those boss fights, are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my bit on Thousand Year Door.
Frequent, do you have any bits on it or?
No, I mean, I haven't really played the Mario RPG, sounds the Mario RPG series. I haven't played the Paper Mario series really, so I don't have much to say.
Okay. Then
I have one final question
sure, what's up?
for Daniel.
Yes.
Where were you, and how did you feel when Hooktail first ate that audience full of innocent people?
Oh my god.
That was terrifying. Like, because up to that point, you think that, the audience is their own thing and you're up there with, doing the quote unquote performance of the battle. And then when Hooktail just backs away and then just dives into the audience, they're screaming for their lives and everyone's running away while he's just, Hooktail's just chopping them away. And then you leap into the audience and the battle continues in the audience stands instead. That was so great and crazy. Just the way it kind of betrays expectations throughout this game. It's so amazing and fantastic.
I love the ones that fall out of Hooktail's mouth.
Oh yeah, you can jump on Hooktail's big old honking schnoz and make some of them fall out. I guess you're saving at least some of them, hopefully.
I also love in that game, they did not show this in the trailer, but there's some people who I don't know if they're in a bad mood. I don't know what happened. I love that there are people in the audience who throw frying pans at you.
Oh
And you have
gosh, the ones that they throw like pebbles and rocks at you.
You just run into the audience and just go, "Stop it. Get some help."
Oh yeah, Mario just leaps into the audience and just get all the bad actors out.
he he leaps in the audience and he hits them. And also that is a very good Mario animation. They showed this where he pulls his hammer back. That's not like a oh I'm gonna hit you. That's a I'm a gonna do it. Don't make me. I'm a gonna do it.
No, my favorite thing about this game getting a remake is that a new generation will be introduced to the Great Gonzalez.
God, I loved how Mario gets like a different name for every chapter he's in, whether it's Great Gonzalez or Murphy or uh whatever the heck it was on these.
I'm ready for a new generation to be introduced to the Waffle Kingdom. Yo,
Yes.
this is a remaster. Have post game where you play a hard mode RPG in the Waffle Kingdom as Luigi. Do
Uh,
it.
uh,
The
yes.
whole
If
other
you
game
wanted
you
to
have to
have
make.
if you wanted to have a Paper Mario discussion, you might want to save that for another time.
That's yeah, we could go all night.
We
And
we really could. But final thoughts on the direct as a whole. Uh, what about you, Daniel?
This was we hope you like remakes the direct, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like there's a lot of games here that they need to be preserved in some way or form or another. Some that just never left their consoles, like Trace Memory or no, it's Trace Memory, Another Code. Games like The Thousand Year Door that people just they never have a chance to play these anymore, and especially when people are just trying to gouge you for prices for really expensive, overpriced, even out of box loose discs and cartridges. So it's nice to have these here. It's definitely a very Mario focused direct, and if that's not really your thing, then you can't really. There's not much you can kind of derive from there because one of the only new games you really showed was Princess Peach Showtime. But other than that, like I enjoyed it, and I'm not super difficult to please or anything, but I had a good time with this direct. I think there's some really good things they showed here. Thousand Year Door pretty much takes the cake for me. But yeah, I enjoyed what we had here.
Yeah. Homecoming.
Uh, I had a great time, and I think it was a perfect direct. No, was there a lot of good stuff in it? Yes.
Yeah. Frequent.
There was plenty of stuff for me to get excited about, so I'm happy. Can't really say much more.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I agree with you guys. It was a pretty solid direct overall. Like I'd honestly give it like a B plus if I could give it a letter grade. Um, but yeah, that should wrap it up.
Think so.
Again, thank you for coming on the show, Daniel.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you all for having me here today. It was fun.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much. Thank you. Great night. Well, if you want to follow Daniel at Night Tide on Twitter or at Good Vibes Gaming, Daniel makes a lot of art and videos, and Daniel also examines logos at greater detail than any of us ever could.
That's
Greater
great.
detail than I
Yeah.
probably should be doing in the first place. But yeah, you can catch me at Evernight Studio on Twitter or even the Blue Sky if you happen to have that. I don't even know who's using that right now, but on there, yeah, a lot of stuff on YouTube for Good Vibes Gaming. That's one of yeah, what's one of the most recent ones I did was for Nintendo logos. I'm really proud of that video. So
Go
yeah,
go
check us out if you can.
yeah, go follow Good Vibes Gaming, as well as yeah.
Or twitch.tv/ Good Vibes Arcade. It's not GVG Arcade, it's just Good Vibes Arcade, right?
Oh god, the Twitch channel. See, that's the funny thing. We have to constantly switch what every channel is called, which drives me crazy. And it's actually official GVG. So yeah, twitch.tv/official GVG. That's where you can find mostly me and Brandon playing games on Good Vibes Arcade.
Ever want to watch a man throw away a golden pipe by sheer accident, and then follow official GVG on Twitch?
God, that was one of our first streams. That's so long ago now. Poor Roger.
It was content.
I mean, it's not as bad as accidentally using a master ball for Pikachu.
Oh no.
All right, we should probably
Can't
wrap up
believe
there.
this.
Yeah.
All right, all.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good one till we meet again.